Hey Dominic, let's take a look at your ball bounce and then go into your excitement pose. By the way, I got your email regarding that pose. It's like the not being very clear on my notes for it, and so I know that the revision is a little bit different for this week's assignment. So maybe next week I'll send an email about it. But what I want to do with that pose is to take a look at it and be more specific over a critique than just like typing through an email, because a lot of times just typing through an email, it's like really hard to get that message across. So I think that's the best way to do it. So hold on to it for now, and then let's take a look at this work and see what you have. All right, nice settle at that end, the end of the shot. So overall, your presentation is really nice. I mean, like you're getting a lot of clarity, and it's a simple thing, but you know it's one of those things that you're adding all these, or you're not adding all these things, I should say, that are complicating things and getting in the way. And so I really like that, the way you're staging everything and the way that you're just like really presenting things in a very clear manner. Overall, your timing and spacing is looking pretty good. And yeah, nice attention to detail with that settle. I mean, it's a really nice, clean settle at the end. The only thing, and this won't affect your grade at all, but just thinking about like how any animation starts, and usually if it's starting just from an area where, I mean, like just for this assignment, it feels a little bit odd if it just starts in midair. Like I usually like to see it when it comes in from off screen and then settles to a stop. Again, that won't affect your grade at all, but it's just something to think about future assignments, like how they begin as well as how they end, and that's something that will, little details like that will really make your animation stand out with more polish. So that said, take a look at this. So timing and spacing is pretty good here. It's a little bit, so what I'm seeing here is that in this path, and I'm not sure what's causing this, but if you look at the spacing for this path as it goes forward, it's like it's starting a trajectory this way, and then it kind of clumps down a little bit abruptly towards the end. And that's kind of taking away from the smoothness of the arc itself. If you play it back, you can kind of see that happening. So I would watch out for that. Just make sure that if you're doing this frame by frame, just make sure that if you're looking at that path that the ball is going on, that it doesn't go too far. See, it's like right here where it's like it feels like it's going to go one way and then it drops pretty abruptly. If you're not doing this frame by frame, then it's probably something in the graph editor where the translate Y is doing something like this, where, and a lot of times that's caused by just taking the tangent, and if you're using weighted tangents, you pull it out a little bit too far to where it actually just makes like a little vertical edge right there. And so what it's doing is it's going along a path, and the ball is following that path, and then all of a sudden it goes down too abruptly for the computer to recognize, and so it just takes away those in-betweens and goes down. So you're getting a path more like that than a clean arc like that. And again, it's subtle, but it's one of those things that if we look at it frame by frame, we see that happening. And so, yeah, it's something to be careful of, especially on these ball bounces. And then next is like the spacing here between this and that, and then this. Like right now, the distance between these two is pretty close. And what we would want for this one is spacing to be pretty big on this one, like something like that. And then on the way out, it's a little bit less. So I would say, maybe that one's a little bit too low, but something between these two. So you have spacing there, and then it hits. And then when it comes up, it's a little bit, it's lower than when it's coming in. So that's how you're going to get that feeling like that energy is dissipating over time. These curves are nice. Again, this arc is kind of feeling the same thing. Like it's nice up here, and then as it comes down, it feels like it's doing a little bit of an abrupt thing. And then, so yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is great. As it goes in through there and then up, that works pretty well. So yeah, that's the only thing, is that there seems to be some sort of let me see. Like it seems to slow down and speed up in some areas. And with this, we would want this to be a pretty constant thing. I mean, like, it's true when the ball bounces, if you get just like a basketball and throw it on the ground, there's all these different dimensions that it can go in. It can go in and out of spaces and stuff like that. And so what I mean is, like, it can go from, it doesn't just go along one path, but if we're looking at it from orthographic, it's going from X to Z to X to Z, like it's going, not just along the Z translation. So for this one, I would say just try to smooth it out a little bit more. It's really this area, and of course this is if you open your graph editor or whatever and look at this and it looks fine, then this is just an artifact coming through in the video. But like right around here, it seems to kind of like speed up and slow down, and it looks a little bit odd. It's kind of jarring right there. Like within this bounce, it's almost like it speeds up a little bit too much and then it slows down again. So I would just take that translation and just make sure that translate forward is nice and smooth with that ease in there. But yeah, it looks good. Came together pretty well. All right, so let's look at your pose. You're planning. Great. Okay. Good stuff. Okay. Let me see what this says. Just want to make sure. Okay. Great. I didn't see. Yeah, we definitely don't want. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Okay, excitement pose. So really nice thumbnails. I mean, like you're thinking more about the pose, and you're drawing that same pose multiple times to explore different avenues here. And this is great to see. The ones I tend to like are the ones that kind of stray away from the cliche and just like have their own, like a very unique voice to them. These two especially, like I feel like those two are like they show excitement in a totally different way that is very unique. This one, it could almost be like devastation or something like that. But these poses tend to feel like it feels like the more often used pose is like the arms up in the air and like down on the knees and just like doing that sort of thing. That tends to be like the most common use of excitement. So what I'd like to see is something a little bit more unique in a pose, and that's why I like these first two, because even like number 5, even number 4, like if you've done right, like that could all lead to an excitement pose that has like just a very unique quality about it. So that's my note for that. And so for this pose, so